everyone, welcome to another episode on Angela Bettina Picent Special. And I have a guest from United Kingdom. His name is Ben Chai. He's an entrepreneur, international speaker, coaching, and also been in the entertainment industry. Let's learn more about him. All right. Okay, pues thank you so much, Ben. It's an honor. And what a fantastic, experience. I'm connecting with you. I was just reading your biography, and your challenging is, I'm pretty sure, is gonna inspire so many people like me. The seven figure business. What I saw your website, reading your biography. But before that, um, how you feeling today? How you doing today, this weekend?
I'm doing good, actually. I'm in Rotterdam, in The Hague, or The Hague, and just catching up with some people that I haven't seen since before COVID. So it's been very, very good to catch up with them. So yeah, it's very good, and it's been sunny all the time. So I'm very lucky. Apparently, it was raining in the rest of the Netherlands yesterday, but it was sunny where I am. So again, I'm happy.
Yes. No,
Yeah,
fantastic. And I like your quote that you have in your website. Think about your life, the people you want in your life, the business you want in your life. Won't be great if you could see the way forward in all aspect of your life.
right. Thank you.
That's
Thank you.
beautiful, beautiful. And also was I have a surprise. I got I recently yesterday ordered your book. Very inspirational because you know everybody that wants to be success in their life, and the best person I can find is you, because you face a lot of challenges. You're originally from the East London. At the age of 21, people didn't believe you will be success. You barely
Yeah,
graduated from math and computer science, and then but you
right.
face a lot of struggles. Tell us about the journey, how you overcome, because you were so shy, and now after you
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
work in yourself, and now you have you're millionaire person, successful man with amazing certification. Actually, you make the history and having the certifications in Microsoft and things like that. Can you tell us how
Yeah.
was you when you were young? How was Chen back in the day? And then the transformation already made, you continue transforming, help others.
Yeah. So when back in the day, seems like a long time ago, um, the UK was a very racist place at the time. I mean, we have racism around the world, but it was very prominent. And I remember the first time I went to school, I was beaten up by some guy larger than me, and I came home crying. I said, "Mum, what is Chinese?" Because I didn't have a concept of race,
Mhm.
um, and so that's how my life was at the time. My dad later on, his job transferred us to Singapore, and I guess my parents thought I would be okay then. But when I opened my mouth, I spoke, very good English, and again, being also a very tiny boy, I was as high as a bench. So that's how tiny I was, and I got into fights because of that. And I decided I never wanted to be, you know, any race, because I thought this is rubbish, and so I decided to be a citizen of this planet, really,
Mhm.
rather than anything else. But I think it was very challenging. So I didn't have a very good self-image, because being bullied a lot, you then create a victim cycle in your head. People don't like you, you get in fights, you then isolate yourself from the main community, which makes you a bigger target for other people and so on. And being very tiny, and I was also covered in eczema all over my face and my hands and stuff. So, you know, people would also tell me how ugly I was. And, you know, I don't know, I ran away, I tried to commit suicide. I didn't really have a good self-image growing up and stuff. So that's the background. Later on, when I got to university, I don't even know how I got there, but I did get there. You know, I met some Christians, and you know, I although being a bit skeptical, I decided to go on that journey and invited Christ into my life, and started reading the Bible. And there was so much information in the Bible that started me on this journey of transformation internally. For example, I never thought anybody really liked me or wanted me, but there's a phrase in the Bible which, you know, is still with me today, where God says, "Look, you're not born because your parents had sex, or your mum was raped, or because your dad got drunk and whatever. You're there because I wanted you." Yes. For whatever reason, I wanted you. Maybe even the abortion didn't work and you were born. I wanted you. And I guess whether this is true or not, it made a resonance in me, and it started me on my journey into sorting myself out.
Yes.
When I graduated, I didn't have a very good degree. You know, I just scraped a degree. I don't even know how I got it. And I was told that I would not really amount to anything. And that was something that my teachers used to tell me. I wanted to be a writer. Oh, you can't be a writer. I had 5 teachers tell me this. You cannot be an actor. You cannot run a business. Because I was so shy, and they were probably right. My English teachers were probably right. My writing wasn't very good at that time. So I slept on a friend's floor. My friend Tanabala Syria, just a wonderful, wonderful man. And there were other people who slept on his floor. So I just thought, you know, I really need to sort myself out and get myself out of this situation, because, like, if I wanted to go on a date, where would I bring somebody? Like, you know, it wasn't very good. So you know, I didn't even date till I never dated anyone till I was 22. So I then spent my time trying to sort myself out, reading more of the problem with the Bible is it's a very difficult book to understand. And when you read a story, it sounds like a story, and you think, oh, well, that can't be right. But then you read it again, and then you find some gems, and then you read it again and again and again, and you find out what you thought the story about was actually not really what it was about. And you find out some gems. But it is a difficult book to really understand what's being said. And so not only did I read that, but I read other books that would help me understand how to bring positivity and realism. Because I think there's a problem where people are so over positive that I find them deluded when I'm talking with them. So I just think, okay, that doesn't really work, but okay, I will, you know, this is your paradigm. I don't want to mess you up.
No.
And so I started reading these books, and I also started developing my own skills. So that's the if you like, the background. And then around my mid-20s, I thought, you know, I'd like to be wealthy. I'd like to be a millionaire by 35. So I looked at different ways to create income streams. The challenge is, it doesn't matter how wealthy you are. If you're going to have to keep sustaining it, you're always going to be working. You're always going to be working and never have time for anything else. when I was growing up, my dad worked very, very hard, so I didn't see him. Yeah. And I thought really I should just try and have some time for my own kids if I can develop a certain amount of wealth.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was my trajectory, and I was looking at different ways to build multiple income streams, and income streams which I didn't have to look after. In other words, passive income streams. I didn't always get it right, but over time I developed a number of these things, and I became wealthy. I didn't hit my goal of 35. It happened actually a little bit later, but it really doesn't matter as long as you're on the path.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Does it matter whether you become very wealthy at 35 or 40 or 42? Yeah. So it doesn't really, as long as you have a goal, and if you have a goal bigger than actually what you want, you're bound to hit it. So
Mm-hmm.
I remember my physics teacher. He'd written that I would be a U. I'd be unclassified in getting a physics A level. And so I phoned up a friend of mine who is very good. He's a genius, a friend called Michael Heaton, and he helped me. And I remembered having this goal of having a B, because my teacher said, "Oh, what are you going to get then?" I said, "I'll get a B." And of course I got a B. And I remember thinking, really I should have set a goal of getting an A, because I got a B, and it was very easy because I had my friend giving me mentorship and tuition. I just thought, why didn't I just go for everything? Because I
Mm-hmm.
think I would have got an A if I'd done that. So
Exactly.
that is the kind of background. I learned how to improve myself. I learned how to improve my skills as well, my skills in a particular industry, and I learned about different ways to bring an income stream in.
Exactly, exactly. And it's amazing, like you said, like you were lost and you were close to suicide. You were like totally like
No,
you
I didn't wasn't close
before.
to. I did try. I
Oh, you
I
did
was just
try. I
not
was
very.
thinking you were
I was
close. Oh
just
my God.
I was just not very good at it.
No, but can you imagine, Ben, how many people have done that or very close to
Yeah,
that? And they're
yeah.
thinking, I was not even close. There's no solution about me. I'm pretty sure,
Mhm.
like in my case, I was close, but I was not like you. Like you actually you did. But it's beautiful, like you says, how you connected with Jesus, with the Bible,
Yeah.
and in the sense like I respect all religions, but we're gonna speak about that one in particular because Jesus, if we read the Bible, he says that ask, you'll receive. The word is the magic, and unconscious and conscious you connect that magic with you, and of course the path connects to connect with the right lessons or the right people to improve your skills, and also to challenge and fight your uh, the lack of confidence, but you were so shy and you had difficulties possibly also with communicating with writing, because writing is very important. Happens to me. I have my
Mhm.
grammar is not very good, and you can be able to overcome that. And now you
So
speak with thousands and thousands of people, and now after you could be able to reach your dream to be a millionaire.
yes, well, I mean, so I'm very passionate about something called the compound effect. And in my
Mm-hmm.
Instagram, I talk about the compound effect a lot. I'm sure my followers are bored with me talking about it. But here's the thing. If you have a passion for something, um, and Angela, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
If you have a passion for something, then it doesn't matter how many people tell you, you'll never be good at it. And, I had 5 English teachers tell me, look, and I won't go into the different scenarios where they tried to say, no, this is rubbish and so on, including me being put into the worst English class in my school. It was the lowest. But here's the thing. If you have a passion for it and you just do it every day, you will
Mm-hmm.
get better. And this is what the compound effect is about. It's just do a small thing every day. So if you just write a little bit every day, and I was bad, they were right. But what they didn't take into consideration is the compound effect that I would get better. Maybe it took me a long time to get better compared to some of the, amazing, naturally talented people in my English classes. Really fantastic. But I would get better and better and better. And at the time when I was developing my writing skills, you only had to be average to be really good because everybody else was worse. So
Yes, it's
when
true.
I look at some of my stuff today and I think, that was terrible, or I could have rewritten it, I could write it better. And over time, I've been trying to the stuff that's online, I've been trying to rewrite and so on. But you get better, and that's the compound effect. And the compound effect works for anything that you're passionate about. Like you might want to be a singer and you're terrible. Yeah, you're really terrible. And the thing is, okay, I'm going to get better. I'm going to get lessons. I did a course in journalism. I did lots of different things to help myself get better. But the main thing is just doing it.
It's
Like
doing it. Yes.
it's just doing it. I'm trying to learn to sing and I'm terrible, but I know I will get better over time as
Yes,
long as
it's
I'm
true.
willing to put in the time and the hard work and
Mm-hmm.
do it consistently. You
That's
will
the
get better
key.
and better and better. The same with
Consistency. Mm-hmm.
consistency, consistency, and it's all the old things. It's working hard at it, doing it, consistent, and the consistency. It could be one press up a day. Just for example, you want to get good at building muscle, you could just do one press up a day. And then over time, you'll
Mm-hmm.
do two, and then three, and then four, because you'll get bored. One press up is silly, right? So you go, okay, I can do 10. Okay, I can do 20 now. And over time, you would just build it up and
Exactly.
then develop your health, develop your friendships. I didn't really have any friends. I had some really good friends, like I've mentioned Michael Heater and I've mentioned Tanabala Syria, because I was so shy. And also I'm a bit autistic in my communication. And over time, so I had to learn the way to communicate people and with people. And I still make mistakes. Sometimes I'm insensitive or I've said the wrong thing, or it's a cultural, we work in a very multicultural society today, and I've said something that's against the culture of the person I'm communicating with. But then I will learn. I will say, I'm sorry, I didn't really understand you were going through this kind of trauma at the time, and I mistakenly said this. Will you forgive me?
Mm-hmm.
And let's move on from that. And if they can't
Exactly.
forgive me, well, at least I've learned something. The next time I meet a person who's behaving in a certain way, I will take steps to deal with it.
Exactly, exactly. You know what? In my case, but you can tell English is my second language. You know what? I start thinking, you know, I'm gonna start communicating, connecting people from United Kingdom. In particular, yes,
Right.
because I want, no, the reason is because I don't want the possibilities not for me to speak in Spanish. I want to force myself in English.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
I
And
mean,
then
that's a good idea.
yes, and then I have a friend of mine, Martina Mesa. She invited me to be on Radio Luminite as a radio host. And the first thing I told her, Martina, people will think I'm speaking alien language because my English sounds so bad. And she says, "Eh, do it, do it." And
Do
oh,
it,
I was so
do
yes,
it. You will just
so
get better.
yes, yes.
I was in radio for 20 years. I look at the first kinds of radio broadcasting I did. There was rubbish, but so what? Compound effect. You will get better.
And better,
It's just
exactly.
you will
And
just
now,
get better and better
yes,
until one day it's just natural, and you'll say, and then you will be interviewed. Oh, Angela, how come you've been so successful? And you will say, well, when I started out, I wasn't so good, but I just did it every day, and compound effect, I cannot help but get better. It's impossible.
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
impossible, really, not to be successful. And some people will be successful after 3 years, and some after 10 or 15 years. It really doesn't matter. Yeah. Does it matter whether you become a millionaire at 25 or 35 or 40? Who cares? Yeah. At
Exactly.
least you were consistent, you're persistent, and you know, and when here's another thing you might like to think about, Angela. Maybe when they are whispering, yeah,
Yes.
maybe they're saying good things about you. Why don't you always think, oh, they must be good? Say, and you know what? I rather they talk about me than somebody else, good or bad. And at least, hey, they're talking about me.
It's true. It's true. You need to think in a positive
Yes,
way. Yes. Yes.
like
Exactly.
like like Richard Branson. I'm going to take what he said out of context, but he said there was no such thing as bad publicity. Because like even when it
Exactly.
was bad, he just thought, yeah, because now I'm in the newspapers. So if they're talking about
Exactly.
you, good or bad, hey, they're talking about you, good. You must be doing
Exactly.
something. The thing
Yes.
is, if I'm not doing anything, nobody's talking about you.
Yes. And that's the thing. You know what, man? I said thank you them and push
Mm.
myself and now have a podcast and I'm meeting every weekend because I do my podcast in weekends. Great people every single weekend and I have fun. So it's
You met
priceless.
you met you met Miss Singapore. That's wonderful. That's so cool.
Yes,
That,
yes,
that's
yes.
great. So here you are on this journey, and like the challenge is picking yourself up. There are times where I've gone for an interview. I remember, I remember in British Airways has changed a lot since I went to an interview, but I could feel the racism from the interviewers, and I thought, no way, I'm gonna get this job. And I remember the second time I'd applied for British Airways, they said, have you applied for a job before? I said, yes. And they looked at, you have to do an intelligence test. And they said, came back to me and they said, we don't understand why you're not working for us. And I said, what do you mean? They said, well, we always employ the top 2% of people who do our tests. And you are in the top 1% of this test. I just like tests, by the way, even though I just scraped my degree. And we guarantee employment, and you're not working for us. So anyway, they said, are you sure you want to apply for this job, which was data entry? Because it's lower than what you applied for. I said, yeah, no, I really want to. Anyway, I went for the interview and I had the same interviewers. I thought, there's no way I'm going to get this job. So, yeah, racism happens everywhere. But the thing is, Angela, whether it was racism or not, do you really want to work in an environment where people aren't going to like you? Why would you do that to yourself? So
I
it's
know.
better not to be there and to be somewhere else where people are going to love Angela and support Angela and do
Yes.
and oh, you fell down, you did this wrong. Instead of laughing at you, hey, let me show you how to do it the right way.
Mm-hmm.
That's better. Better to be in that. And obviously, it's not always easy. I don't want your listeners to think, oh yeah, it's okay for you to say this. It's not easy, and sometimes you just have to take it on the chin and duck and dive until you find something
Exactly.
better.
Those
Mm.
that's what I did because that experience that I had was in previous job. Right now, I'm blessed that I have a wonderful job. But before, I'm still keeping the memories. I suffered that experience for close 15 years in the same
Yeah,
job of the yes. Yes, it
yeah.
was terrible. No, 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 no. And it was very hard to see that only few people got raise in salary. I mean, I was taking the same, stuck in the same, and having fun about me, like I said, and not allow me to do presentations because they didn't like my accent. Until I say, I know I took many years to say no more, but until I
Mm.
make the decision and move forward.
I think that's a great phrase, which you just said, no more. Okay, I'm not putting up with this anymore. I don't care
Exactly.
if I'm going to be poor. I don't care if I'm on the street, but I'm not going to allow people to treat me like this.
Exactly. No,
And,
exactly. And
and then things start to change. How can I improve my communication? How can I even talk to the bullies? How can I go and talk to them and say, oh, I heard you say this thing about me. Why did you do that? It's kind of, um, you know, how can I help you in your life? Maybe you're going in through some trauma, and so that's why you're trying to take it out on me. Maybe I can help you, and maybe we can be friends. And of course,
ex-
maybe they will just laugh at you, or maybe they won't. But
exactly.
at least you making an effort to change your situation. I think that's where things start, saying no more. I'm going to change the situation. I'm going to leave, or I'm going to try and communicate with these people and find
Mm-hmm.
somewhere. Maybe I can teach you Mexican, right? Obviously, you are laughing because of my English, but you don't know any Mexican, so maybe I can teach you how to speak, Spanish, because it's the third most spoken language in the world.
Exactly. No, it's
And
true. It's true.
maybe you will want a nice chica, or you're interested in a Spanish guy, but you can't communicate. Maybe I can help you with the communication.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
You
It's
know.
true. No, no, and I did the same, kind of similar. I got my Bible and I pray and I ask Jesus, give me, a job that can make me, happy and relaxed. And I have a wonderful job right now with wonderful
Oh,
supervisors.
brilliant.
And why can I
Yeah.
say no complaints? And also have the place that I have the weekends off and concentrate to having this project. So thanks to Jesus.
Thank you. Yeah.
uh,
But
yes, yes.
that's really cool. So I'm glad you found your way. I think everyone, when they are willing to say no more, will find their
Mm-hmm.
way. No more. I don't
Exactly.
want to be. I don't want to have any. I don't want to have no money anymore. What do I have to do?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't want to have no friends anymore. What do I have to do?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. I don't
Exactly.
want to have bad health anymore. What do I have to do? When they
Exactly.
say no more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No more. Even doesn't matter. Like in my case, 15 years working in the terrible job, even so many years, you get used to live in the same environment. I say, okay, no more. I don't want to have this. I
Mm.
completely quit without have a job. And I was say, start from zero and move forward. After 15 years in my office and professional job, and I decide no more. This is not what I want. But everything
And now
comes to
you
the
have
right time.
moved. Yeah. And now you have moved from zero to hero.
Exactly, exactly,
Now you are a
exactly,
hero. You have interviewed so many, amazing people around the world. It's incredible.
exactly. Yes,
Did
yes.
you ever think that would happen to you, all that time ago when you were dealing with bullying and
No, no, I was thinking that I was very miserable. I was thinking I was, of course, not good enough. And I was thinking I would never be able to learn English. I was trying to communicate to making some marketing, as assistance to musicians from United Kingdom, but it was difficult for me, the writing, the communication. It was back in a day when we have a MySpace and then High Five and then we moved to Facebook. And
yeah,
I was thinking, I need to start with something. And this is something I remember, Ben, when I was, because I have a master's degree in computer science, information technology and computer science, because all my courses in
wow,
computer science. And
you've got a
one of,
master's.
yes, I have a
You should be
master's,
a multimillionaire by now.
but that's the journey I'm working on. And after speaking with you, you bring me that inspiration, having your book and, continue watching your videos and conferences. Definitely you transmit me a lot of energy, and that's the reason, this is a wonderful and blessed interview I have in my life. And when I say that, there was a professor from India, and very wise man. And he says, what do you need to do to learn something? Everybody says, yes, I'm good in math, I'm continuing math. Oh, I'm good in English, I do my career in English. No, do the things that you don't know. That's how you're gonna, that means you're learning. You need to do something that you're not good enough. Because if
Mm.
you continue doing and continue learning the things that are good enough, you're not learning anything. It's
Yeah,
true.
yeah. Yeah, that's true. So if you want to learn, exactly, look at things you're not good at. And if you want to capitalize on things that you are good at, then use those skills to bring an income stream.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And then you graduate math, computer science, and you have a struggle. How was how was your challenge and how was your steps to be able to get certified as a certified in Microsoft, former speaker for Microsoft? How was the journey? So you say you apply for entry level jobs, and then you how
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
motivate
So
yourself to
okay,
make the
so
risk?
so yeah, so my first job I had was in administration.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, I didn't have a very good degree, and I remember my parents, they had moved to Singapore at the time. They thought that I wouldn't really amount to anything, and my dad said, I can find you a job in government where you'll be safe. And in my head, I was thinking, I was swearing at my dad, but I didn't obviously swear at him. And I said, no, I will go back to England where I was born, and I will find myself a job. And at the time, it was going through a little bit of a recession. So I had a bad
Mm-hmm.
degree. It was going through a recession, and I got this administration job, which it didn't really pay much. But because now I have a job, and then I started learning things. Remember, I'm learning how to improve myself from reading
Mm-hmm.
the Bible, from reading other books written by people like Wayne Dyer. I read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, just a lot of these books, and I would read them and read them and read them. And I would listen to audio cassettes. Today, I actually watch interviews like the ones that you produce, Angela, and
Oh,
listen
thank you.
to different people's perspective on different subjects. So at the moment, I'm learning about AI, for example, because I don't know anything about AI, and I believe that it would help me improve lots of my different areas of my life. So there I am in that job, but it has a library of just what we call, it was the beginning of CDs. There was no such thing as a CD, but it was the beginning. There were these big laser
Yes.
discs, and would
Mm-hmm.
teach you things. So I would be learning things till 4 in the morning at my workplace, and I never went home. I would kind of fall asleep at the desk, and then I would be there working at 8 o'clock. I would have my porridge or my cornflakes to eat, and so on. In fact, this is a very bad habit. And at one stage, my body said, we're not having any of this. And it just fell asleep for 3 days. People thought I died. The company was phoning me up. I was really, really tired. And of course, the eczema got worse because, I'm not looking after myself. Anyway, those were the days where I was educating myself mentally, and also trying to skill myself up. And over time, the IT department, so I was not in the IT department, even though I have a degree in computer science.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Over time, the customers would phone up to ask me how to help them instead of the IT department, because they said, oh, well, Ben's more helpful. That happened. And I asked to teach software, and the company said, no, you don't have good communication skills and so on. Anyway, one day their trainer was sick, And I said, I can do the job. And they said, no, 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 we'll find a contract person. They couldn't find any contract people. So in order to save the contract, they sent me. And, you know, I didn't sleep for 2 days. I was learning the software, I was learning to use it. I use it, or, you know, learning to use it in my everyday life. And I produced a course where the customers said, we don't want to have the previous trainer back. We only want Ben to teach us. Mm-hmm. So that started moving me towards training and education. Also, at the time, my managing director said, we had all this old equipment and he needed to sell it. And I said, I'll sell it. And he said, well, you're not really a salesman and you're very shy. And I said, well, at least give me a go. What's the commission? He said, well, you can have 20% because nobody's been able to sell it. So I phoned up all these people, all these brokers. I don't even know how I knew how to do this. Maybe he gave me some contacts. I don't know. And eventually they bought everything. And so they decided that maybe I would be good as a salesperson. And actually, I wasn't very good. I was terrible. But I had a new man, a guy called Alan McElworth, who mentored me in sales. And at one stage, the managing director wanted to fire me. And this is how incredible that mentor was, because he closed a big deal. And he told the managing director, Ben did this. No, this is all Ben. So over time, you know, I got good at sales. I wasn't that good that I would get the first deal, but because the way my brain works, it's a strategist, that maybe I would not get the first sale or the second sale, but I would get the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and then I would have a loyal customer. Mm-hmm. In those days, you know, remember I'm working for an IT company, an administrator for an IT company. I have a degree in computer science. So the solutions that I was suggesting to the customers were great. They were great solutions. I just didn't know how to sell them. And so another salesperson would sell a solution, but it would be the wrong one. Yeah, from a competitor. And that's why they came back to me. And also I would think strategically, if somebody didn't want to deal with me, how could I have somebody else in that company deal with me? And this is where part of social magnetism is. I was starting to learn about people. I started thinking, oh, okay. And I say this in the book, like I suffered very badly from eczema. If I found out that somebody's children suffered from eczema or they suffered from eczema, I'd say, oh, have you tried this? This really helped. No, that's never going to work. I don't care what the doctor said to you. It's not going to work. So, you know, I almost became an advisor there. I used to, because I didn't have many friends, I learned to play games with older people like chess and Scrabble. Mm-hmm. And some of the customers, they like to play chess. Mm-hmm. So I would play them chess, you know, one move a game or a day. You know, you would find out these things. And this is where the whole aspect of social magnetism, you know, adding value to people. I would write postcards to my customers. And postcards from when I was abroad. Now, I didn't travel much, but if I did, I didn't travel much because I didn't have much money to pay to go traveling. But if I did, I would send them a postcard. I would send them a card in April, Happy Easter. I would never send a Happy Christmas card because everybody gets a Christmas card. So I would send them on day, and I became memorable. And they thought, no, Ben cares about us. He's not just doing what everybody else does. He's going over and beyond. So that's how I created loyal customers. Yeah, that's good. By adding value, which is part of the whole social magnetism. And and of course, when they moved from one company to another, they would phone me up and try and bring me along to the new company.
That's good. That's good. And that's impressive that all you do, everything you did to improve with the computer skills and things like that. And then I was reading that also you are director of editorial company. Even if you
Yes,
improve your writing
yeah,
skills, you could be able to accomplish, to accomplish with working for the
mm,
Microsoft and be a former speaker, and then working as a director for the editorial company. How was it? How was the challenge for that? Having
yeah,
facing that
yeah.
your grammar, yes.
So um, in the story, I was working for this company, and then I got headhunted to work for another company. And this is
Mm-hmm.
something people should understand. If somebody's not paying you what you're worth, somebody else will. As long as
Mm-hmm.
you're doing your job professionally. And somebody
Mm-hmm.
else wanted me to go and work for them and to run their sales department and and uh, and their tech department. So I went to work for that person, and then I moved to Kodak, division of Kodak, where I was in charge of new products. So I
Mm-hmm.
went and learned about marketing. I got myself a marketing diploma, and part of the new products is I had to write, a manual for that, and I had to write training courses, and then give the courses. Now, the manager at the time, a chap called Peter Gowan, he taught me how to train, and he would give me advice, and then I'd watch him. I said, "But you didn't take your own advice. Why did you do that?" And of
Mm-hmm.
course, it was like I was a bit of a pain in the neck actually for him. And then so I think he improved, but I also realized that for different audience, you have to give different kinds of course and different kinds of education, even though the subject's the same. You can't treat everybody the same. And
Mm-hmm.
so when I started, this is where I started now learning to write more and more. And by the time I got to working in editorial departments, I was already writing a lot of courses. I was writing my own course, my own courses, because from Kodak, I suddenly got a new director who wasn't a very nice director. The previous director was a wonderful director, very supportive. But my new director wanted to be CEO, and he wanted to cut out all the other directors, and he was quite abusive. So you talk about ducking and diving. There I am, ducking, diving, trying not to keep out of this guy's way. And eventually I went through what they call constructive dismissal. So he just made it very hard for me to be there. And eventually because I was ducking and diving, he couldn't get rid of me. So they paid me a lot of money to go quietly. Like, if we give you this money, will you not complain? Will you not, sue us? I said, yeah, sure. Why would I want to be in this company where somebody's giving me a hard time? Now that changed my life, really,
Mm-hmm.
because I took on a job delivering newspapers, just just thinking, what do I want to do? So I was and delivering papers, to just pushing the papers through the doors, watching out for the dogs, and so on, and thinking, what do I want to do? Uh, you know, so somebody asked if I'd like to train them on some software. I said, yeah, sure, I'll go and do that. And I didn't really know the software. I started delivering training courses, wrote the course material. Now, remember, I'd written the course material for some software in the first company, and I'd
Mm-hmm.
written an entire product manuals for the second company. So now I'd already developed some writing skills.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so I was writing a lot of training courses, and now I'm speaking and delivering courses to people. And that's how I ended up working in editorial departments, because now I'm already writing. A guy, he recruited me because he said, "Oh, what do you think of my magazine?" And I said, "Well, I think it's okay, but it looks like you're just rewriting American articles." And actually, that's what they were doing. And I said, "I can bring you brand new creative articles, and I will create a team for you." And that's what I did over time. So I wrote all the initial articles in terms of the technology articles, but then over the time I would find other people to write for it. And so that's how I ended up then working with him later on when he set up a business and became the editorial director. Also because of the writing that I was now writing for a lot of magazines, other people would see me and ask me to write and contribute to their magazines.
That's good. That's good.
But this is this is the other thing, you know, when I started out writing for my English teachers, they were fictional pieces. So this is something else I tell people when they set up a business. Okay, you set up your business, but your business will become something different in 3, 4, 5 years, because probably this is your idea, but maybe this is not your skill, or maybe people aren't going to buy that product because it's just an idea. How do you know people are going to like it? And over time, it evolves. And so, okay, I'm not a writer in fiction, but I found that I started making a lot of money in nonfiction, to the point where I've written, you know, a book for Microsoft, which directly, the direct and indirect revenue made me over $1 million. Yeah. As a result. Now, I would never have been able to write that book if it hadn't been because of a number of betrayals and bullying and so on, and if it hadn't been because I hadn't started writing all those courses way back. I would never have the skill set to do that. So here's the lovely thing about bullying.
Yes, yes.
Which I never appreciated when I was growing up. I just thought my life is shit, right? Bullying teaches you, if you can get past it.
Yes.
It teaches you survival skills, right? Okay, here is this person, they're either more intelligent than you and using intellectual bullying, or they have more power than you and they're using connection bullying, or they're just in kids, they're, you know, it's all about muscles and physical. And with girls, it's more about shaming and guilt. You know, you're not dressed like the rest of us. So, but here's the thing: it teaches you a lot about self-reliance. Okay, because now you have to get through things. It teaches you about survival. It teaches you about strategic skills, not to get into major, you know, trouble. Yeah, it teaches you how to avoid it. So it teaches you risk management. The downside of being bullied is that it doesn't teach you to be creative, because now you're scared to be creative in case you get bullied. That's the downside of bullying. But it does teach you a whole bunch of other skills, which helps you become really good at negotiating, actually. It also helps you to move. So because when you said no more, and here you are in this fantastic place, when you say no more, you are now forced into a situation, into bettering the position you're in. So I would never have got the deal writing it, but we're kind of going all over the place with this interview, but I would never have got the deal with the book if some instructors where I was working. So I'd written the outlines for some courses, and because they were using positional bullying, one of the guys who caused me a problem, he was dating the lady in charge of saying which instructors got to write courses. So I never got to write the courses that I'd written the outlines for, and they gave to somebody else. Now, if that hadn't happened, I would never have the bandwidth to write the book for Microsoft, because I would be too busy writing these courses. And these courses, they would have brought me an income stream, but nowhere near the income that the book brought me. And this is why, you know, there's this phrase, which, you know, everything happens for a reason. Even bad things happen for a reason, which I'm not always I don't fully subscribe to that. But if you can find, and I don't think it's always possible, but if you can find the opportunity in the adversity. So the adversity here was like, oh, these instructors had caused me a problem. then this is amazing. And there's a lot of these kind of situations that I've been through, and if it hadn't happened, these horrible, challenging situations, then I would not have either had the friends I had, I would have not met some of the amazing people I've met, I would not have had the income that I've got.
Mm-hmm. So,
Uh, uh,
um,
so this is why you almost have to embrace when bad
mm-hmm.
things happen to you. Oh, okay, God, like 5 things have happened to me. Like I'm really suffering from a lot of health issues, and I'm thinking, what on earth is going on? Yeah, like last year, when I was in Mexico, yeah, I started finding out I'm playing tennis, and
Mm-hmm.
like I can't really see the ball. And 6 months later, I found out I've got really bad cataracts. I couldn't even see people when they were about this far away from me. I can't see their face, and so I had to have an operation on my eyes. But also, I've recently been diagnosed with pre-diabetes, so that means my blood system is much higher, acidic than it normally is. And today, as we're talking, I'm suffering from something called gout. So I'm just thinking, why is this happening now? What can I learn from it? So I've learned
Mm-hmm.
so much about health. I've learned so much about, again, the compound effect of you having sugar constantly every day since, like you're 6. Yeah. So things aren't going to happen to you. The way the compound effect happens is nothing, you never see anything happen. It may be for a day, a week, a month, a year, 2 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. And then suddenly it'll go like that. That's what finance happens with the compound effects. That's what health, the long-term impact on health will happen to. Like, for example, smokers. If you smoke 10 cigarettes and that's it, you're not going to get cancer. But the compound effect of you doing it every day, over time, this is the compound effect that's going to happen.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. So now I'm learning about the compound effect on one's health, and
Exactly.
and hopefully I can reverse it. So one of my friends who suffered from diabetes 2 has reversed it now by changing his diet and changing a whole lot of things. So now he doesn't have diabetes. Uh,
Exactly.
and you learn these things, which will maybe help me either help somebody who's going to change the world, or maybe help me live longer to reach more people. I don't know why this is happening to me. It was my own it was my own fault because I didn't know any better.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit like my parents used to tell me, don't look at the sun. Whatever you do, don't look directly at the sun. Because no, they didn't say don't. They said you can't look at the sun. So as a kid, I'm looking at the sun saying, but I can. But that caused me to be short-sighted. Yeah. It caused my eyes to have problems. Really, what they should have said to me is, don't look at the sun because over time, this is what's going to happen to your eyes. But as a kid, you don't process it. You only process, why can't you? But you can do this. You know?
I know, I know. It happens, especially when we're kids. We do always the opposite what our parents tell us to do. Okay, I want to do anyways. Okay.
No, well, no, it's not that. I think if the parents tell you why you shouldn't do it,
That's the key. Yes, like I said, they need to be more
rather than saying don't, say
specific.
why, because this
Yes.
is going to happen. Sweetie, if you put your hand in the fire, you're going to burn yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and then you'll have to go to hospital and so on.
Yes, yes.
So
No,
so
pues,
so it's just these things.
I want to remember the word complex, because everything when I start doing something, or especially in this journey, what I'm doing, I'm gonna say, okay, if I didn't well, if I was not good in that interview, because we're human beings, we make mistakes. I'm not gonna, penalize myself. I'm gonna or push myself down. Okay, this is just continue, move forward, and do it. Up and downs every day. So, and not feel disappointed. And I'm learning a lot. You you make
I
me a big
I
change
love that.
inside of me. right now.
No, but I love that. I love that you saying, oh, it's up and down every day. And it really is. We call this 2 steps forward, 1 step back, right? Two
Exactly.
steps forward, 1 step back. So it's not always going to be a great day, but as long as you can be grateful for what you've got and you can wake up happy. Of course, I do penalize myself when I make a mistake and I go and cry and shout and scream and hide under my duvet. But, that's my 1 step back. But, a month later, I'll recover and I'll say, okay, I penalized myself enough. Now I have to forgive myself and I need to move forward. And I need to
Exactly.
find out and I need to learn from that and don't do that again.
Exactly. And very true what you say that even bad things that we experience, even alcohol, like me, I have to change my nutrition as well because I have some, no, I don't want to call medical conditions something related with women. Then I have to change my nutrition style. And I'm thinking, it's not too bad. If I will have that, this gonna cause me a diabetes or something. No, things happen for a
Yeah,
reason, and yeah,
yeah.
I'm trying to see very positive. It is true. Things happens for a reason.
Let me share an incident that happened to me. So, like I'm saying, I'm suffering from gout. Now, I had a gout attack a long time ago, and I'd forgotten about this because my body got better and so on. And I wasn't taking any more training work for Microsoft and their what we call their ATEX, their subsidiaries. They're well, not subsidiaries, but anyway, they were Microsoft um, kind of vendors. So I
Mm,
wasn't taking any more training. And I thought if I keep canceling all these training contracts, I won't be getting any more. So I accepted this one to go to a place called, I think it's Rockville near Washington. And the company phoned me up, Learning Tree International phoned me up and said, I'm really sorry, Ben. We booked you into the Hilton Hotel, but they don't have any more rooms. So we put you in the hotel opposite. And the hotel, I can't remember what it was called. I think it was called the Odd Hotel. Anyway, I go to this hotel and they only have odd numbers, 1, 3, 5, 7. They don't have even ones, like 2, 4, 14, 16. They're not. And when you go in the rooms, they've got your bed and the other half of the room is like a mini gym. Anyway, it was very late when I arrived. And I needed something to eat. I was very hungry, and they said, "I'm really sorry. We just have this thing called kale chips, kale omelets, and I don't like kale. It's horrible." Anyway, I said, "Is there anywhere else that's open for me to go and eat?" They said, "No." So I end up having a kale omelet. Now, here's the funny thing. Within a few days, I'm not suffering from gout anymore. I didn't know that kale would alkalize my blood system as well. And as a result, now I used to suffer really badly from IB, irritable bowel syndrome. And when I was having kale, no more. Nothing happened. And it was just, again, the universe, because if I was at the Hilton Hotel, I would be having these nice burgers or whatever it is. But I would have learned about this thing called kale. I still don't
mhm.
like kale today, but I eat it. Right? And I keep learning. I keep trying to think. I need to find a way to learn to enjoy, like maybe put it in a smoothie, whatever it is. I don't care. But I need to learn ways to enjoy some of the vegetables that I don't like, but they're good for me. Okay. So anyway, I mean, obviously work on the diets and some of
Yes,
the
exactly.
bad. As I think we were talking about some of the things that aren't nice that happen to you. Um, you know, they can help you move forward as well. I remember
Exactly.
these scam artists. They cheat you of your money and stuff like that, and it looks good. And I remember saying to one, it's not as if I don't lose my own money. I can lose it without you, without a scam artist. Like I can make bad investment decisions and so on, which has happened. I've lost my fortune twice, and obviously I've been able to make it back. But that's why I'm always saying, or if somebody scams me out of some money, and I say to friends, "Do you think that's bad?" I say, "Yeah, but it's not as if I haven't done it to myself without them."
Yes, I can
And this is
imagine.
again that 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It's not as if we don't
Yes,
mess up our own lives. Yeah, as long as we
exactly.
can forgive ourselves and move forward and find a way to move forward, that's the great thing. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Again, the compound effect. Just consistent. You will get there. As long as you don't give up, as long as you don't spend your life getting angry with yourself, as long as you don't. There's a lovely story that I've done, on YouTube called "The Story of the Bamboo Tree." Story, and in this story, um, the farmer is trying to better himself financially, and he hears that if he grows bamboo, this is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So he plants some bamboo seeds, and nothing happens. Even though he's watering it, he's weeding it, he's making sure the sunshine falls on it, nothing happens. And so he thinks, like, he heard about this story, he thinks it's a scam. So he goes and digs up the seeds, right? And he ruins it, like nothing's happened, there's still the seeds. So he then decides to get education, and I'm a great believer in education. And he goes and phones up his friend, and his friend said, "Why did you dig up the seeds? It's going to take a long time. You just stopped them from growing the roots. Now you're going to have to start all over again." So he
Mm-hmm.
says, "Okay, I believe in my friends. I'm going to have faith. I'm going to have faith in God or the Bible, and I'm going to do what it says. I'm not going to
Exactly.
worry. I'm going to believe. If I ask and I do the hard work and so on, then this is going to happen." So he he re-sows them. Somebody says, "You can make more money if you grow corn." But this time he says, "Okay, I will grow corn." And he gets rid of the bamboo seeds. But that doesn't really work. So his friend who says, "Why did you dig up the bamboo seeds?" So he puts the bamboo seeds in. And he says, "Okay, this time I'm going to have this part bamboo seed, but all the other areas of my farm, I'm going to grow other things." So now he's sorting out his risk. And he plants the seeds. And he grows and waters them. And while all the other crops are growing, the bamboo seeds is still not growing. But every year he's making sure the weeds don't go. He's making sure the sun comes out, and he's putting the water on it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing happens after the first year. What do you think
Mm-hmm.
happens after the second year?
Mm, probably it's gonna start growing up or
Nothing happens. He thinks
nothing.
it's a scam. But his friend
Ah,
says, "No, no, keep on, hold on, it's going to happen."
okay.
So now the fourth year comes. What happens? Nothing.
Nothing, still
Nothing
nothing.
happens.
I'm still thinking about yeah.
And by the fifth year, then something starts growing.
I got you.
And
Yes,
just a
I see.
small tip. But then 2 months later it's doubled in size, and 3 months later it's doubled in size.
But
And
the key
suddenly he
is
gets
the
all these amazing bamboo. And he's
yes,
got like,
yes, because
yeah,
yeah, because it's like you says this. Take the time, but the key is not feel disappointed and keeping water, nutrient until the times they need to take. We're gonna see the fruits of the success. That representation of
suddenly,
bamboo.
but all that time you're looking after it, you're giving it love, you're giving it foundation. And this is the
Mm,
educational side of your growth. And this is why I like when
mm,
you're saying, "Well, I'm always learning something." This is the educational side. That's the
mm-hmm.
foundation. This is the challenge. And I did some funny, please follow me on my Instagram. I do crazy stuff. Sometimes I just do crazy dances, but there's a lot of educational stuff in there. And my
Yes.
Instagram is Ben Chai Official. Please follow that. Because at the moment I'm doing some really crazy things. There's a film coming out at the moment called Guardians of the Galaxy. and I'm just taking all the different characters and I'm showing you why in their lives they've either been successful or they failed or they caused problems with the plans and the strategies. So
Mm,
please follow that because it'll
I
help
will.
with your
No,
education.
no, definitely.
And people watching this video, please. So
Yes,
send
yes,
your
yes,
official. Um,
yes,
but
definitely.
here's the thing: when you defocus, like when
Mm-hmm.
he defocused, this farmer defocused and thought, okay, look, I've been told that corn can make more money, or somebody tells him something else, so you get caught up in greed. Like you can make $10,000 a day if you do drop shipping, or you can get $10,000 a day in 90 days if you write a book, or you can get $10,000 a month if you can. All of those, what you don't understand is you still have to learn the skill. You still
Mm,
have to learn and grow a business. So it
mm-hmm.
is possible, but relatively few people will do that in 90 days. Yeah, their health may suffer, their connections, their social, their relationship with their significant other or their children may suffer to do that. But it is possible to do anything. You can make $1 million tomorrow. You, you know, you could do the lottery. You could, but you won't have learned the skill set to
Yes,
maintain
exactly.
your million. Like I know a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people who've either inherited a lot of money or they've won the money, but they never learned money skills.
Mm-hmm.
So they eventually lose it all and they're back where they started from.
Yes, that's what they call the new millionaires. The new millionaire that they have a easy money or whatever. They know how to administrate, how to invest it, and they lost them the money so quickly because they started spending for nonsense and
Well, it is really is easy to spend. It's surprisingly easier than one thinks. Like you might think,
mm-hmm.
how can I ever spend that? And also the other thing that will happen to you is you'll get lots of people coming in saying, "Oh, can you help me with my charity? My daughter's dying
Mm-hmm.
of XYZ. Can you give me money to this?" And of course, well, you've got all this money, you should, and then they'll guilt shame you into giving them money. Like, you know, my dad suffered a lot from this. He didn't even have the money, and he would borrow it to, but they didn't really have that relative that was dying. They use the money for something else. And again, you won't have learned that skill set over time to see who really needs money and who doesn't. You won't have
Mm-hmm.
learned the skill set over time to think, I can't give you money until you learn how to manage money. Because
Exactly.
even though you say you're going to give me my money back, you're not, because they never learned how to manage money. It's never going to happen,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yeah, but he's my best friend, and suddenly, so you won't learn all these skills if you suddenly get this a lot of money if you've never had to manage money. Now remember, like I didn't have any money. I was living on my friend's floor, so with the little money I had to buy porridge and cornflakes and milk, that taught me about budgeting.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the skill set I learned about budgeting doesn't necessarily help me later on in life because I spend, at one stage I was spending too much comparing petrol prices or gas prices, I think, in your country. And that would waste my time when I could have completed more tasks and just going to the different petrol stations to see what the prices are. Yeah.
Yes.
So that skill set of budgeting when when I didn't have anything doesn't necessarily help me with when I have some money, but I
Mm-hmm.
still have good budgeting skills today. And it's another lesson that the skills that you needed to survive aren't necessarily good skills when you are no longer in that survival mode.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you have
Then,
to
mhm.
continue and evolve your skill sets as well.
Exactly. Exactly. But as a director for editorial, you could be able to overcome the challenge of writing, communications, and then a former speaker for Microsoft. you had a CEO levels and position like in marketing, finance, editorial technology, everything combination, computer science, technology, writing skills, and then real estate, opportunities, right? It's a real estate
Yeah, so
company,
Opportunities is a real estate company.
something another different. How you come up with that, and then you dominate that. You successful as a
We don't, I
writing
wouldn't say,
skills.
I don't really, so Angela, I don't really like talking about this word domination. I know some people love this word domination. I think the only thing you need to dominate mainly is your own life. Yeah.
Yes, thank you for
But
saying
but
that.
but
Yeah, and so
but
yes, yes,
but the
it's true.
world and business, you don't really need to do that. You can make a lot of money without dominating it. Look, who is the leader? Coca-Cola or Pepsi?
It's
So
true.
you don't,
Coca-Cola is true. Yes, yes, yes.
yeah, you don't need to dominate to still be wealthy and financially free.
Mm,
It's just, and the compound effect doesn't need you to dominate. The compound effect is just going to happen anyway with regular investing, putting
mm-hmm.
$10 or £10 away every month, or whatever it is that you can afford to put in. It's still going to have compound effect is still going to work for you.
So, in other
So
words, you don't believe.
Opportunities is just a real estate company, and this is
Mm-hmm,
another thing I was told that I couldn't do, as a kid. When I
mm-hmm,
graduated, I wanted to borrow some money from my parents. I mean, they didn't really have any money to borrow. I could borrow from, but I wanted to borrow some money and buy a property and rent it out. And they thought this was stupid. Um, One day, my these people came and knocked on my door, and I thought they were Mormons. Yeah, and I said, and they said, "Can we speak to you?" I said, "I'm really busy. I don't think you can speak to me at the moment." They said, "Well, we just want to say your next door neighbor, who was their grandmother, had passed away." Now, these people, they are in their mid-30s, and apparently their grandmother spoke really nicely about me because I used to go next door and I used to mow the lawn for her if she needed a light bulb changed, or if she just wanted company and have a cup of tea with someone. So I used to do that. And they said she used to talk about you a lot. We want to bless you back. The estate agents have said the property is worth this much. You can have it at 30% discount. Like I said, this sounds good, but my parents told me never to be in property. They said this is bad. And so they said, okay, well, this is your choice. Yeah. But if just let us know, we'll give you a week to make your decision. And if you don't want it, it's fine. So I phoned up my brother. I said to my brother, are you going to ever want a mortgage? He said no, because I'm going to move to be with my girlfriend. We're going to get married and we're going to move to another country. So I said, will you take this mortgage for me? Because in those days, there was no such thing as a buy-to-let mortgage. You couldn't get a mortgage for a rental property. So he said, yes, I will take this. And we had a solicitor's agreement. So I did it. And my parents found out about it. And I was told how stupid I was. I was told how silly I was. And kind of a couple of years later, the lady at another house next to me, another neighbor, said, would you like my house? And I was told that my parents would disown me if I did it. Now, my parents were just trying to look after me, okay? Because they had always lost money in property.
Mm-hmm.
They were just trying to look after me. But because of that, I didn't buy that other house. Anyway, because I didn't buy that house, which I really think was offered to me by the universe, this horrible person moved in who started scratching my cars and got her kids to do horrible things to me. So I had to move, right? So I had to sell the two houses eventually. And also at the time, this company in education and training that I was a non-executive director sold, and it sold for a lot of money. And I had about 10% shares in that company. So I had now a lump sum in that company. And as a result of that, I bought a nice house for myself. And also I bought another house, but I didn't tell my parents about it. I didn't tell them. And I got a few other nice houses from people I'd been looking after for a long time. They gave me really massive discounts. And that's how my property journey started. So the lesson here is my parents didn't really know about property investment. There was no such thing as property investing courses when I started. Yeah, in the UK, there were about maybe 200, 300 property investors. It wasn't even I wouldn't even be called a property investor. I didn't even understand what I was doing. And sure, I made a lot of mistakes. I broke even, yeah, because I was just thinking property prices go up every 10 years. If I could find a way to hold on to this property for 10 years, yeah, then I will have some money. This is all I was going in my head. And then I was thinking like Monopoly, if I buy 4 houses in a row, I can buy a hotel. Of course, you can't do this because there are laws to stop you knocking down 4 houses in a row. But this is how naive I was when I started.
Wow.
But over time, I learned, and I got myself, eventually later on, I learned later on how to buy houses with none of my own money. And this is where opportunities was set up. The directors that started at the time, they're no longer there. Only my good friend Miles Bullock, he is still there. The others wanted to go on and do their own thing. We're still friends. You know, one of them was my daughter, but she wanted to go and buy businesses, and so things just changed, and opportunities were formed. I wouldn't say we dominate the market or anything like that. I would say that we've had our own learning experiences because the team keeps wanting to do bigger and better things.
Yes.
And the problem with bigger and better things is now you have to learn all over again. Yeah. So if we just bought buy-to-let properties, which we understand how to do, then we wouldn't have the challenges of buying a big building and converting it to flats. Exactly. It's just different processes and so on. So we, you know, we've got by, we've bumped along and stuff, and the asset is worth something. But I believe with the compound effect, it doesn't matter whether we make or lose money. Over time, the assets will become a certain amount.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. And question to you. So you say you don't like the word dominate. In Amsterdam, okay. I want to remove that from my vocabulary to go to complex. But no. But this is good.
Just dominate your own life. Be in control of your life.
Yes, but I like the word complex. Yes.
Don't let circumstances be in control of your life. Don't let the other people say, "Oh, Angela, you really need to do this. You really need to do this."
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Maybe look at it and think about it and say, "Okay." And they'll say, "Oh, if you've got 2 days to make a decision," don't be like, that's controlling your life, right?
It's true.
So I lose this opportunity, another one will come by. Well, exactly. Now will have more education in case another opportunity comes by.
Exactly. So what do you think about the competition?
Sorry, can I just finish the story? The mistake I made with my parents is I was getting advice from people who never did property investment. So don't get advice by people who haven't done it, even though your friends mean the best for you. If they haven't done it, don't do that. If you're passionate about it, find a way. And if you can't find a way, treat it as a hobby for a little while until you can work out how to do it. And eventually, if you use your head, you keep getting education, or you take education from the industry that you're in. So, I was one of the first people to get a Microsoft and a Novell networking certification. And I would use the learnings from Novell to implement into Microsoft, because Microsoft at the time didn't have the technology to do things. So I would learn how I could do things using education from one industry and mixing it with another. And again, this is the compound effect. If you learn about how to write books and you've learned over time how to teach from the stage and mix the two skills together, or mix podcasting with writing, or mix podcasting with dentistry. Or so I've got a friend. She also does podcasting, and her podcasting has helped her dental practice do really well. She does dentistry to a lot of celebrities today, right? Here you're connecting with celebrities. I don't know what your future is, Angela, tomorrow, what you're going to move into, but now you're connected to all these people.
Exactly.
Anyway, that's just what I wanted to say about you know, the mistake I made is listening to the wrong people. The things I did right in the time, the estate agents told me you should not rent to students. Yeah, nobody does that. But I was renting to students, and today in the UK, it's a strategy. Everybody rents to students. Yeah, but at the time they told me it couldn't be done. So it was just finding a way. At the time, all I wanted is the rent to pay for the mortgage. But I didn't understand that there are other costs. There's the cost of insuring the property. You need certificates for the boiler, you need certificates for electricity, and there's more laws coming into the UK. So the rent needs to cover the mortgage and all these other costs. Those were some of the mistakes I made in the early days. Yeah, but I learned from it and I had to evolve it.
No, it's true. You know, yeah, I think in many ways we are connected with that, because in me as my personal experience, I'm I'm continue making mistakes, and it's like one of the main reasons is listen the wrong people, or people with not experience, but they give the opinion, and somehow give us a lot of they're very influence in our life decisions. Yes, and it's something like we need to have a hard skin, and if we don't like, we are not
Yeah.
agree what they say, is not to allow to change our path or decision. You know, just be strong on
Well,
that.
and again, if you want to do it, find a way. I didn't find a way to do property. It was given to me. The universe gave it to me by these people knocking on the door. I thought my parents were right. Yeah, and then I realized over time that actually they're wrong. I found a way, and then now there's a whole industry around property investing. There's courses, there's different strategies. It's just it grew and mushroomed into its own industry. Just to one point where you say your people tell you you can't do. In my early days, I you know, people say I grow because of positivity. Well, honestly, I grew because of negativity. I grew because people told me what I can't do, and I kept finding ways to do it. Remember the guy Edison, who invented the light bulb, the incandescent light? I don't know whether the stories are true or not, but the stories say, some say that he was told, he was interviewed by a reporter or researcher, and they said, you know, you're the laughing stock of the world. You know, you're trying to invent the light bulb or the incandescent light, and you failed 10,000 times or 1,000 times. It really doesn't matter what the story is. And his reply was, I haven't failed 10,000 times. I've just found 10,000 ways it can't be done. That is you learning. That's you like, oh, it can't be done like this. Or, you know, or if somebody tells you, Angela, you're no good at writing. Yeah, maybe today that is true, but doesn't mean it's true tomorrow or the next day. It depends on how much you want it. Like some of my friends, they say, oh, Ben, you're so good at dancing. I would love to dance like you. And I say, how much do you want it? They say, well, you know, I've got 2 left feet. Well, here's the story. I tell them, well, actually, I have 1,000 left feet. You know, my friends were out of beginners after 3 months. I'm still in beginners 2 years later, but I'm passionate about it. I want to dance. This is partnership dance. I had ladies walk off in the middle of the dance floor. I'm so embarrassed because I was so bad, but I still wanted to dance. So So they may be right. I mean, they may be right about me for the, for the first week, the second week, the next month, the year. But the compound effect, I got better. I learned. People felt sorry for me. Some older, this is why I love older people, and probably I'm one these days, but I love it because they felt sorry for me and they danced with me. They asked me to dance, and I learned from them. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and they would teach me little things. So today, I've got a certificate to teach um, dance. I've performed in dance. I've written about dance. And here's the compound effect of all my other skills. I've been an editor of Dance Magazine. I saw the Dance Magazine, and by this time I could write. And I told the publisher, "This is rubbish. It looks like a whole magazine. This is what I can do to improve it. Would you like an editor?" He said, "Yes, I'd love one. Been looking one forever." So we had a deal. I didn't get a lot of money, but as a result of me being the editor, I got £20,000 of free dance lessons invested in me because I would write about the classes. And they said, "Oh, yeah, no, you don't have to pay. Come to the classes. Yeah, you're featuring us in the magazine." They would buy me drinks. Not that I'm an alcoholic, but it was nice.
But all still that beautiful, your story. I love your story, all your transformation, that those things that was kind of impossible for those people that tell you, you are not gonna make it, you're not gonna make it, and you fell in depression and you feel down, but you continue, and then now you have the, how can I say, the experience and the um you know the testimony. I want to say testimony to say, okay, it's a complex, and and teach other, be a mentor, be a coach. Beautiful website that you have, and also how amazing you help hundreds of thousands of people in 60 countries, because you give conferences and all these things, because your story is very touching. I'm speechless, and I love it. You right now, like I said a couple minutes ago, you give me a big impact in my life right now, and
Oh, you're
some of the
very
things
kind.
that, yeah, I feel, to be honest with you, even
I
yesterday.
always say to people, Angela, if I made an impact on your life, will you write a nice review for me on my LinkedIn?
Yes, of course. And not only that, you know what? I was thinking, Ben, if you want, it will be an honor for me. Can I download some videos of Instagrams that you inspirational videos, and I can add in each one of my podcasts like a segment, like a small segment, something inspirational, because the purpose of Angela Petina Presents is for inspirational purposes. And what you says, I think is can be applied to anyone.
I'd be honored if you did. Just as you're just so you know, I in general tend to work better with teams, in teams
Mm-hmm.
of people. And my good friend Miles Bullock, he designed the website and he came up with the name Opportunities, which
Mm-hmm.
is opportunities in property. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
this is so I this is thank you for saying it's nice, and I would like to give credit to Miles because that's his creation.
And question to you, Ben, because you give a lot of beautiful things right now in my shows. It's a treasure conversation. If you have someone in front of you, I like to say about anyone, can be a teenager, can be a senior, no matter, because at the end of the day, no matter the age, because age is just a number. And it will ask you for one advice, just one specific, unique advice. What are you gonna tell to that person? It says, I want to be happy and success in my career.
So I don't think I could give a one fit size fits all advice. I'd have to listen more to their story because I think the world is full of, hey, just do
Mm-hmm.
this, and it doesn't really work. You've got to listen to Angela's story, and then think, okay, Angela, so this is where you're starting out, and obviously a teenager, his starting position may be
Yes,
very
it's true.
different from a senior position who will have a lot of experience,
Mm-hmm.
and probably a lot more tragedy and trauma as well
Yes, it's true.
than a
It's
teacher. So this is why
depends.
uh,
Yes, I see.
I would say, I had a long chat with my good friend Rob Alders yesterday, and I would say that success is more about happiness than money.
Mm-hmm.
And really, even this word success, there's really no such thing as the word success. Equally, there's no such word as the word. I mean, obviously there are words like success and failure, but they mean nothing. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's whether whatever amount of wealth you have, whatever number of people you're in, if you're happy, then this is the best thing. If you've got gratitude in your
Mm-hmm.
life, and honestly, there are some people I've I've been working with, and it's really hard to have gratitude in their lives. Things have been so bad for them, but if you can have some gratitude, and you know I, I'm gonna say something bad about myself. I don't always have gratitude. Yeah, I'm happy inside and stuff, and I'm very thankful for a lot of things. But sometimes I get very angry about
Mm-hmm.
about bits and pieces. I get very angry about people who betrayed me,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
so on. I know that the universe has allowed the betrayal to happen, either because I've done something wrong, or the universe wants me to move forward in something, and I should be thankful for it. But sometimes I'm not following my own advice. So I don't want to say gratitude is easy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say being happy is easy. And that's the other thing. You cannot chase happiness. You cannot chase love. You cannot chase money. If you're chasing it, you probably will never get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you attract it, this is why I like social magnetism. If you attract it, it's much easier. If rather than chasing friends, you are being a friend to other people, you are helping them, over time you will get friends. Maybe perhaps not the people you're helping, but other people who look at you and see the way you are.
Mm-hmm.
If rather than chasing money, you're doing things to add some kind of value to other people, then the money will chase you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Money will say, I like you. You're a great person. If you've got a bad money mindset, and you say money is the root of all evil, right? Rather
Mm-hmm.
than saying, and because if you treat money like this, if you say money, you're the root of all evil, do you think money's gonna like you? Like if I said to Angela, you're the root of all evil, do you think you're gonna be my friend?
Mm-mm.
If I say money, I don't like you because you cause all the bad stuff, do you think money is going to say okay? I mean, money's neither good or bad. It's the way people use it. It's a bit like
Exactly.
it's a
Mm-hmm.
bit like um, uh, um not atomic energy,
I
nuclear
thought
energy. It's not good or bad. It's the way people use it.
it's a vehicle. It's a vehicle to
Yeah,
take you wherever you want to go. That's how I see money.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
a car.
So money is an enabler, or it can be a disabler if people want to
Mm-hmm.
use it bad. And so if coming back to your question, I don't have a one size fits all people, but I would say, if you can find a way to be happy, and by being happy, try to make other people happy, then you'll probably have a happy life.
Exactly.
Probably. I'm not going to
Exactly.
guarantee it. Compound effect will help you, but I don't know how
Exactly.
long it will take.
Yes. It's true. It's true. And I will
One
remember
day
the
you'll suddenly have
bamboo.
loads of friends. One day you'll have
Yes.
loads of money. One day you'll
Ex.
have lots of great health. Just keep keep doing what you're doing. It's the
Exact.
same thing. If people often ask again this question, Angela, if you could say one thing back to your younger self, what would you tell that younger person?
Don't listen to the wrong people.
But then if you didn't listen to the wrong people, you wouldn't have learned the lessons that made you who you
It's
are
true.
today. So this is why I'm always saying, I don't think I would tell my I don't think I would say anything to my younger person, because it would literally change my history. And I would
It's
just say
true.
to my younger
It's true.
person, carry on. Just carry on.
Mm,
You're doing everything right. But I might be doing something wrong. No, just carry on. because
Yes.
maybe if I change that, I wouldn't be where I am. Maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't. Who knows?
Yeah, it's true. It's true. You know
Here
what?
you are, Angela, who is interviewing all these amazing people around the world. Now, if the people had been nice to you in your first job, maybe you'd
Oh,
still be working there. Maybe you'd be a manager there, or you know, an executive there, but you wouldn't be interviewing all these amazing people.
exactly. Exactly. You know what, Ben? And I was feeling guilty in so many years, thinking that if I would if I would fix that, if I will fix that, I will be better. But it's true. If I will be like a Back in the Future movie, I will get back to the past,
Yeah,
change
I love that
something.
feature.
Yes, possibly I will have a better salary, professional job, but maybe not happy how I feel because now I have a projection to make this podcast and the TV and grow in this business because that's my passion. But no, everything happens for a reason, and of course, I give a credit to my husband because he has experience working in television for around 30 years in Argentina, and he advised me, everything connects, everything in the right, the right people, the right moment, and we have all this experience for a reason because otherwise I will not speaking with you. You won't have that experience, and I will not learning from you. You will not transform so many thousands and thousand people, and sharing your beautiful experience. And now, no, and I will push myself to connect people worldwide, and because yes, it's true.
Yeah, that's you have a very wise husband. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
yes, thank
Mr.
you. No.
Angela, you're very wise.
Oh, thank you. You too. And
Very,
I'm so blessed to meet you and call you my friend. And thank you. Thank you so much, my friend.
I think Steve Jobs, one of his the speeches before he passed away, where he says, he never knew his trajectory, but when he connects the dot backwards, then he understands why everything happened to him.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Exactly.
and I think this is the same for many people because
Mm-hmm.
we view time as a linear thing. We can only see things backwards.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
yes, true. So, what a lesson you get to me, Ben. So I'm so blessed. Jesus Christ bless you so much,
Thank you
and
so
looking
much.
forward to speak with you again soon and bring me inspiration. But not only me, so many people, and you're in my prayers. You're your family.
And the other thing, Angela, is you can help a little bit with the compound effect if you just say to your friends, will you just share it with one other friend and get that one
Mm-hmm.
other friend to share it? Or you can join some of these women entrepreneurial groups on Facebook and LinkedIn, and you can share your communication, your podcast with them, and you could just say, "Hey, look, I've developed a podcast. Can you? Um, I think this will help people
Mm-hmm.
in this industry. Is it okay for me to share it?" And speak to the administrator of the group. Obviously, don't just put it there. And they will say what their rules are, or you could just put it there, and then they can say, yes, this is great, or hey, we don't allow this. But you can do
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yes,
You can
yes,
put it
yes.
on. I tell you what, join the 529 Club. Here's a. So I think you're on Facebook. Join the 529 Club. I'll send you a link.
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
and every so often, maybe once a month, just put a post of an interview you've done of people in the fashion and the film world. So
Mm-hmm.
the 529 Club is only it is about fashion and film.
That's
So you
cool.
could you could interview like the Miss Singapore, that's fashion. If you interview your husband, he's in the film industry, just talk to him about what it's like being in the television industry. And you post it there, and then you can say, ask people to follow you in there. Just say, hey, I do more stuff like this. Here's my details.
That's good. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, I will.
Okay.
All right. So thank you
All
so
right.
much, Ben. Thank you for for bringing this honor and big smile on my face. And what can I say? Thank you so much, and looking forward for more interviews. You wanna share? You wanna uh, share something more to the followers and
Yes, yes, and it was an honor and privilege to be interviewed by yourself as well, Angela. I look forward to seeing your name in the lights.
oh, thank you so much. Thank you, my friend. And I called you a friend because I feel a very good connection with you. And thank you so much.
Ah, mi amiga. Yeah.
All right. So,
All right.
thank you so much,
Well,
Ben. Ben, so
thank you
much.
so much, Angela.